Hi guys, it's April and I garden down in southeast Nebraska, zone 6A, and for whatever reason, every day I decide to film, it is dark and gloomy outside. It's wintertime. I can feel it in my bones. We are cold, we are chilly, and we're probably going to get snow tomorrow, so why not talk about all the seeds I've bought for next season? So it is usually around this time of year where I have gone through my seed inventory, decided what I need to purchase more of, and then got completely sidetracked by all the seed catalogs and all of the pretty things that they have, and bought more than I probably should have. I have documented my new seeds for the past several years. I can link those hauls down below. But this year, surprisingly, I managed to hold myself back. And I think this is because I'm going into, what is this? My 6th season of gardening, that I'm starting to get a feel for what I like to grow, what I like to eat, and that kind of stuff. But that doesn't hold me back from buying way too many tomato seeds. Something about tomatoes, I can't help myself. So there are a lot of tomatoes in this one. But I suppose rather than just talking about what I got, I can show you what I got. Most of these varieties are either from Johnny Seeds, Baker Creek, M.I. Gardner, Eden Brothers, and I'm sure Wild Boar Farm. Those are the main seed companies that I have purchased from this year. I'm sure there are a few more in there, like Row 7, if I remember correctly. And there might be a surprise one here or there. But I will list all of the places I've bought my seeds from down below in case you want to check these out after I show you what I've got. But let me show you what is on the list for growing in the 2026 growing season. To start out with, how do I want to start out? Do I want to start out with showing you my flowers or with what I am going to be growing for food? You know what? We're just going to grab a pile and go. So the first couple of things that I have right here is I've got the Sweet Wave Snow Pea blend from Row 7. I do have their purple Beauregard peas, and I really like them. And this is just a blend between the purple Beauregard and their green wave. I haven't tried their green wave, and I figured this would be a good way to try it. And then I also have the golden sweet peas from Baker Creek. I don't know, something about it just called to me, so I decided I wanted to try growing them this year. Let's just put those over there. I'm kind of going from the beginning of the season to the end of the season. That's kind of how these are laid out, but not really. I'm just making that up because it sounds good. But I do have this pack of free seeds. This is a cabbage of some unknown variety to me. It looks like it's an old European heirloom, which could be interesting. Most of the time, cabbage-wise, I am growing Napa cabbages because I like to make kimchi. That's mostly what I end up using my cabbage for. I do like making coleslaw, so maybe I will give this a try. We'll see. Then I got a couple of herbs. The first one I have is the Delfino cilantro. This just looked really, really interesting to me because it looks kind of like it's got the growth pattern of like a carrot top, but it's got the cilantro flavoring, which my brain is trying to process what that would be like. It says it's slow to bolt, so we will be testing that out. I do have a bunch of cilantro that just self-seeded itself outside at this point, hoping it will come back next year. It's kind of fun just to see those volunteers come up, but I'll probably be adding this to that as well. I got a couple packs of my stevia variety. This is the Sweetie Star. I had a little bit of an issue growing this past season. Something just went a little finicky, and the problem is there is not a lot of seeds in each of these pouches. So I ended up having to buy some stevia from a stand at my farmer's market, but I'm hoping that I can get this variety to grow because I really like this variety. There's something about the leaves on this one that I really like. And then I did get some replacement seeds for my black nebula carrots. I absolutely adore this carrot variety, and I think it's just because this will stain absolutely everything purple. So when I'm cooking with it, it ends up with the most interesting colors. And sometimes I like to do a blend of shredded carrots in, say, a salad or whatnot, and it just adds a little bit more interest. So I got some more seeds since I used up all of mine. I did pick up my standard set of onions this year, but you will see that one is missing. I only got 3 varieties instead of my usual 4. So I am doing my Cabernet, which is a red onion. I absolutely adore it. I am only going with the candy onion this year. It's a yellow hybrid onion that is based off of the Walla Walla. And in years past, I have grown the Walla Walla as well, but I'm starting to find that the candy does a little better for me in my area, and I am drawn to the candy onion before I am the Walla Walla when I'm cooking and prepping. And I've only got so much space in my garden, so this year I'm going to really focus on getting those candy onions to really bulb up. I'm excited about that. And last year, for the first time, I tried the Yago bunching onions, and this produced so stinking well. I am so excited to have this back and fresh in my garden come next season. I can't tell you. I'm so excited about this one. And this one, I have never grown leeks before. Can't say I've cooked with leeks, but this is a sweet garlic, which is supposed to kind of be a blend between a leek flavor and a garlic flavor. And I was so intrigued by it because my family absolutely adores garlic in most dishes. So I figured this would be something to try. I mean, it's one of those plants that you can eat roasted or raw. So it might be interesting to have it mixed up in a salad or something like that. My best bet is this is probably going to end up in my focaccia. I think I could do some fun stuff with this, but I'll let you know how this one goes. I'm really excited about trying this one this year. And this past season, I started getting into growing beets. I haven't been a big beet person in the past, but I'm starting to experiment with beet dishes, and I find that I like some of those lighter color beets a little better because they don't seem to taste as earthy. So last year I just grabbed a blend variety from my local greenhouse, and this year when I saw that Row 7 had this Badger Flame beet, I'm like, well, I had a little bit of success with some of those beets that I grew last year. Let me try this and see how it goes. Plus, something about Row 7 and their varieties and just their seed packets. Love their seed packets. And then I have this radish that looks like a carrot. I pretty much just drawn in with how it looks. I have no idea how this is gonna go. I go back and forth with how well I do with radishes because a lot of times they tend to just bolt really easily on me. This one, let's see, it says it's great for pickling or eating raw, and most of the time I pickle my radishes. So it could be interesting. I don't know. It just calls itself a radish masquerading as a carrot. Could be fun. I'm hoping it's one of those softer flavors of radish. And then I have a new eggplant variety I want to try this year. This is the Casper eggplant. I usually grow the fairy tale eggplant because it's a smaller size and it's just what I like to cook with. I don't need large eggplants. And this looks like it's also one of those, I mean, it's going to be bigger than the fairy tale. Looks like it is 5 to 8 inches, but it's a slender one. It's a Japanese variety. But I was intrigued by the white coloring and what that would mean for the flavor of the eggplant. And the last in this stack is the Baby Boo pumpkin. So my godchildren, they really like painting pumpkins, and so they're drawn to these white pumpkins, and one of them really likes this small white pumpkin. I'm gonna see if I can grow them so that they can just have fun painting them this year. That's why I picked up this one. Before I dive into the tomatoes, I have one pepper. I am not going to be able to say that at all because I am going to butcher it in a way I do not want to. But it's also known as the Spanish mammoth, and it's supposed to be a bigger pepper. They're saying 6 to 7 inches, kind of like my yellow monster pepper and my blot pepper. So I wanted to give this one a try, and if it is in the same class as those two peppers, which are the varieties that I think I'm always going to have in my garden, along with the Lesia peppers. I think those are the ones that I'm going to start focusing on after I use up the rest of my seed stash of peppers. But that means I have some tomatoes I need to show you, and I don't even know how many different varieties I've got at this point. It's probably 20 or so new varieties of tomatoes. That's just my guess. But I'm going to start with the Roma tomatoes. So for the Roma tomatoes, the first one I have is Apollo's Chariot. This is, of course, from Wild Boar Farms. I don't know, I just liked the coloring on this and I kind of got excited about that. Next, I have two new varieties from My Gardener. The first one being the Blackout Roma. Just look how pretty that is. And the second one is the Midnight Plum. As you can kind of tell, I like those tomatoes that have the anthocyanins in them. Something about that. I just really like that darker flavor. I have got two types of tomatoes I really like. I like the ones with the purple shoulders, and then I like the ones that have the yellow and oranges running through. That's my range of tomatoes, which is very dangerous because they've got some very pretty varieties, which is why my tomato seed haul is the way it is. I think next I will show you my slicer style tomatoes. And the first of those is this Mad Hatter tomato. Once again, it's one of those purple shoulder varieties. And of course, I am an Alice in Wonderland gal myself, so the name really got me on that one. I also decided to give the Cherokee Lime Stripe, if it's an S on the end of there, Stripes tomato. I have gone back and forth with some of these striped varieties. They tend to crack more than I like, but I'm going to give this one a go. I also have this Lucid Gem, which once again has got those purple shoulders that I'm really excited about. And then I saw this Orange Jazz on the website for Baker Creek, and look at the size of that thing. I don't know if mine is going to get that big, but you know, might as well give it a try. It looks fun. And then I've got the Thorburns Lemon Blush. I do like the Thorburns Terracotta, so it'll be interesting to see how this falls into the line of tomatoes that are the Thorburns. I'm gonna shift these a little bit. Last but not least, I have the Solar Vortex from Wild Boar Farms. Once again, it's one of those multicolored tomatoes that I really am excited about giving a try. Now we've got snackers. I did not grow a lot of snacking tomatoes last year, and I think my brain is trying to make up for it by how many snacking varieties I bought this year. So here we go. First one is this Atomic Fusion. It's just the colors on this one. I'm a sucker for really pretty colored tomatoes, so I have to give that one a try. I also have this Olive Copper, but this is another one. It's another one for me to try. I have this bubblegum centiflora tomato. I've never grown a centiflora style tomato before, so this will be a new experience for me. But the color alone on this, you've got that almost white with that purple shoulder. I was intrigued. We'll see how this tastes. Then I have this curtain call tomato. Once again, it's that multicolor that really drew me in. It's probably a lot like the Mad Hatter tomato and the Lucid Gem, kind of in style, but we'll see what it is like in taste. And then we have Emerald City, which is basically almost like curtain call, but it's got that green coloring instead of that red. Then there is this flavor grenade, and the name itself intrigued me. So I'm expecting a lot of flavor out of this one. I've also got this raspberry burst. So we're gonna try this and see how it is as well. And then I have this solar eclipse tomato, which is a yellow tomato with those beautiful purple shoulders. And then I have this sweetheart cherry tomato. The shape intrigues me. I don't know if I'm going to enjoy this because some of the super small tomatoes I'm not a huge fan of. I did try a couple of like the micro tomatoes in the past, and while they grow really, really well, I just didn't find the smaller fruit worth it. I was intrigued enough by this, especially with how glossy those look, to give this a try. I don't know if it's going to be a success or not. And then last in the tomatoes, I have this tangerine crim. And something about naming a tomato after another fruit always intrigues me. So I had to give this one a try. Those are kind of all of my fruits and vegetables and herbs and other things that I'm going to be growing this year. I do have a couple of flowers that I'm going to be growing as well. Shall I kind of merge these together so I have room? I don't know. It's almost like I need a bigger table at this point. So starting out with the zinnias, I have this cupcake pink mix. I really, really want to have success with this variety. I keep trying each year. I keep trying, and it doesn't quite always go the way I want it to, and I don't know if it's just because this is a hybrid mix, and so it doesn't always come out true to the picture nature, and sometimes you just get a blend of different styles, but I'm determined to get that like really cute cupcake style. And then I want to try this agave zinnia this year. It just looks so pretty. So we're gonna try a new style this year. I do have a couple of straw flower varieties. I'm bound and determined to have success with starting my own straw flowers. Most of the time I end up just getting them from the garden center. The first one is this vintage white straw flower. And then I have this silvery rose straw flower. And in the same vein, I have both this bright rose and this bright rose from Johnny's. I guess it's not even the same vein, it's the same variety. Sometimes this happens when I'm looking at the online catalogs and I just see something and I don't necessarily double check if I've bought it already. But I guess we'll see if one of these has a better germination rate than the other. That'll be this year's experiment. I did get a couple packs of this summer carnival hollyhock. I grew a pink hollyhock this year, and I'm trying to remember what variety it was. It was the Fiesta Time from Baker Creek. It got maybe like 1.5 feet tall before it started putting out flowers. This is supposed to get up to 60 inches tall. So it is one of those taller varieties of hollyhock. So I'm excited about this. I really, really like hollyhocks, and I'm finding them so easy to grow in my area. So I'm starting to add a few more varieties. I've got the black variety already growing, and it's pretty much established itself in my garden at this point. And like I said, I started the Fiesta Time for the first time last year, and we're going to see how well it comes back. It actually flowered in the first year, which surprised me a lot. So that is a variety I might have to keep my eye on. I'm not sure how well it's going to end up doing long term, but I think this one is going to act like what I assume is a standard way for a hollyhock to act, where you'll just get the leaves the first year, but it's the second year that you'll really get those really gorgeous blooms. So we'll see how this experiment goes. And then last but not least, I saw this echinacea on the Baker Creek website. And I am such a sucker for pink. And the fact that there is a pink echinacea, I don't know if I'm going to have any success starting this or not. And it's supposed to be a perennial, but we'll see how this goes. But yeah, that's all of my seeds, and I never really took account of tomatoes. 3, I got 19, which is almost 20. I was close. It was very, very close. So I know I said I restrained myself more than I have in years past. I know it doesn't look like it, but this is probably about half of what I have bought in years past. I have a problem, I understand, but I do curate my seed list. Last week I put out a video of what I won't be growing next year and that I am unhauling from my seed stash, so you can go and watch that if you would like. And I don't foresee myself buying any more seeds for this next growing season unless there happens to be a surprise seed drop over at Floret, but I don't think that is going to happen either. But I would love to know what varieties that you have picked up for this next growing season. If there's anything you think I would be interested in or you're super excited about, just tell me down below. I would love to hear all of your thoughts. Also, if you have grown any of these in the past, let me know what your experience was like, because I am very interested to hear about any of that. Otherwise, if you want to see another video like this, subscribe down below, hit the bell, do all the things to get all of the notifications. I also have an Instagram and Threads account in case you want to check me out over there. We are in the weird part of the gardening season, so I'm basically just planning out next year's garden. I'm organizing my seeds and all of that. So if you're interested in seeing any of that, please let me know. Sometimes I feel like I do the same thing each year and it's not really that exciting, but maybe it is. I would love to hear from you. Otherwise, I do hope I will see you guys in another video, and I heart your beautiful faces.